Good morning and Merry Christmas. I'm meteorologist Tony Petracca with a quick update on our storm. Looking at Newport with fog, heavy rain, poor visibility, and a strong gusty wind. So far, latest from National Grid, and these numbers are actually a little lower than I was anticipating. 29 active outages, just under 1,000 customers without power. We've seen gusts in so far between 40, 50, 55 mile an hour range. Haven't seen too many 60 or 65 mile an hour gusts. And that may be one reason why, while we do have some scattered outages, perhaps it's not as widespread. So perhaps a little good news there. Still stormy though for the remainder of the morning, heavy rain and some gusty wind. Looking at the Doppler radar, I got a little bit of a squall line coming through right now. This thin red line with some very heavy downpours, some thunder and some strong wind gusts. And there's more rain well back to our west. So while the heaviest of the rain and the wind coming through, say, next 2 to 3 hours, there is lighter rain off to our west that'll spill over into the afternoon. So really, unfortunately, a better part of the day looks wet. We've had some soaking rains, some localized flooding. I've noticed a lot of standing water on people's property, the front lawn, just the ground is so saturated, it really can't drink it up. But this rain continues to move north and east, so it'll continue heavy at times. So the timeline here now through about 10 a.m., looking at still some downpours and some strong gusty winds, somewhere in that 40 to 55 mile an hour range. I wouldn't rule out some 60 plus mile per hour gusts, but based on what we've seen so far, it's been hard to come by. And there may be one reason why, while we do have some outages, perhaps it's not as widespread. Once we get towards noon and the remainder of the afternoon and evening, it's more of a lighter rain and certainly a weaker wind. And then after 6 o'clock in the evening, the showers are ending. We've got gradual clearing and a rapid drop in temperature. It's pretty mild out there right now. So still going with 1 to 3 inches of rain. A lot of this has fallen already, plus the combination of the snow melt is the reason why we have the flood watch. Localized street flooding, storm drains are clogged up, big ponding of water on the roads, maybe the potential for some basement flooding. On my property here, there's water surrounding the foundation right now, but no flooding reported, fortunately. And the wind gusts are going to be still generally in a 40 to 60 mile an hour range, but we're finding it, at least at this point, of 60 mile an hour wind gusts are kind of hard to come by right now. So a little bit of good news there. The rivers, the Patuxent, I mean, it's creeping up, but it's forecast to be at minor flood stage this afternoon. So some flooding on that river, but nothing major. And the same thing with the Wood River. And that's rising a little bit, just to some minor flooding expected this afternoon through the early evening hours. Some of the smaller streams will see some minor flooding as well. As we take a look at the forecast hour by hour, starting now with the downpours and wind coming through. And then during the afternoon, this is around 2 o'clock. It's still raining, but it's not quite as heavy. It's not quite as windy, but unfortunately still kind of soggy out there. But the wind speed's coming down at that time. By 6 o'clock in the evening, the bulk of the rain is heading offshore. And then later this evening and overnight, clearing skies and turning a lot colder. All right, forecast, 7-day forecast. Good news, clearing tonight. And the weekend looks dry and sunny. Chilly on Saturday, 35, and a little milder by Sunday afternoon with a temperature at 40. So wrapping it up, some scattered outages, just under 1,000 reported by National Grid. Actually seeing more outages in over the border in Connecticut. Eversource reporting more in Connecticut and not as many here. Still some gusty wind and some heavy rain over the next couple of hours, and then the rain easing up in the afternoon but continuing, and the wind speed's not nearly as strong once we get from about 11 a.m. noontime on. Still windy, but not quite as gusty. All right, that's your latest forecast. Merry Christmas. Enjoy the rest of the day. Wish we had better weather.